Okay, episode 19. It took a little bit, but we are here. And the theme this week is doing something versus doing nothing. The inspiration comes from Zach and I's conversation with Brandon Krastowski last week. He gave a really kind of powerful anecdote to end our conversation about why doing nothing is bad. And we're going to kind of open up that conversation and give our own perspectives because Zach and I thought it was really interesting. I've actually been grappling with this a lot today because I think there are pros and cons to doing something versus doing nothing. Although it is very easy to have the viewpoint that doing nothing is bad. But fellas, I'll just give you this quote first, and this is from my day by day, which I've given Zach one of these, and I shared before the show that I'm going to send Marcus one as well. But this is from a couple weeks ago, July 20th, and the quote is, make what you do today important. You're exchanging a day of your life for it. I would love your guys' perspective on that because I think that really pulls to the side of that it is very much a pro to be doing something with your day. But I think I can see both sides, but I'd love to get your guys' opinion on it.
Um, for me, I actually just started watching Landman. It was a show that I hated on before, like not hated on, but like I was like, it's kind of mid, and then I gave it another chance. And something I'm noticing a lot with that show is the idea of kind of like it comes back to everything, just being present and how the main character is just always working and every day seems like it's the worst day of his life, but he really has like the best life that he doesn't really appreciate. Um, and so the way I'm relating it to the quote is like, I think it's very important to evaluate what actually is important, and then what you're doing should be surrounded by that idea. So like work is extremely important and career, and it should feel that way because for most people, that's how you're going to have a better life and just be more comfortable with your life. But there's the flip side where you become so obsessed with something that is really only material and is not of the biggest importance, which for me would be family and love and spending time with my friends. So it kind of depends what doing nothing is. Like if it's doing nothing with my boy, that's a great thing. And that to me is like what I want to be doing, and that's important to me.
Could
But
you
if it's
make the
doing
could you make the argument that doing nothing with your boy is doing something?
I think absolutely. And I think that's what I'm getting at is like when you treat every day like it's important, like I said, that importance has to come from you have to figure out what's important.
Yeah.
And for me, I know what's important to me. And if I'm making time for all the things that are important, I can be okay with a little bit of nothing. But I have to do the things that are important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we decide our themes for these shows, I like to sit on it a little bit. Or today, for example, I took my dog for a long walk, about like a 3 mile walk. So it took me a little over an hour. And I was thinking about it. And Zach, you mentioned it at the beginning of what you were saying is uh, it has a lot to do with presence. Action and presence kind of like coincide. So my quote of the day is one that I heard a while ago, I think for the first time in high school. It's by Seneca, some ancient philosopher. And he said that we often suffer more in imagination than we do in reality.
Oh
And
wow.
so, what that means to me is that when you're putting action out there, when you're, working to achieve a goal that you have, um, you're doing that in the present, and oftentimes it's really not so bad. And so I like to think about when I do my running training, or like this was the biggest lesson that I took away from the Ironman is like one step at a time, right? There's a bunch of different ways to say it. In Finding Nemo, Dory says just keep swimming. When I do my running training, there'll be some times where I know that I have 10 miles left to go, and it seems so daunting. But then I just think to myself, like, bring it back to the here and now. Do I have the capability to put one foot in front of the other? Yes, I do. And so just keep doing that and have faith that if you just keep doing your actions, that eventually you'll reach the finish line that you've set for yourself. And so it's almost like when we suffer in our imagination because we think of the tens of miles or the thousands of steps that we are yet to do, and yet we can't actually experience that until it comes. So it's much more important to just bring it back to the here and now, put the action out there. And a lot of the times it's not as bad as you maybe feared that it was going to be.
You know, I think the Ironman training is actually a perfect example of doing something versus doing nothing because it really is so easy to do nothing. And when you're training for an Ironman or a shorter triathlon or marathon or whatever, you really are stacking these little days. You're not seeing the awesome outcome of becoming an Ironman or becoming a marathon runner until you actually do it. Like you are tested every single day, and it's really just about getting 1% better. Marcus, I really like what you said, where it's just like that the incremental steps, and like doing when you do these running, when you do running training, like taking it 1 mile at a time. Like I've gotten a lot better at swimming during my half Ironman training because in my head, instead of counting to 55 laps, I'll count like get to 10 laps and then do 10 again and then do 10 again and then do 10 again. And now you're at 50. But for some reason, starting with a smaller number and then working way up and then just knowing like, okay, I've gone through 10 laps once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and I'm done. Like I've improved a lot more and I'm way faster. And I want to go back to what Zach brought up, like just hanging out with your boy and doing nothing. Cause I do think that is doing something. But I actually think there is some importance to doing nothing sometimes too. You know, we talk about this show often, daily self improvement and trying to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. But I think sometimes it's okay to just be where you're at that day. You know, if you feel like you're lagging because you've been going a mile a minute, it's okay to actually take like a mental reset day, give yourself some grace and prepare to get 2% better the next day. You know, like it doesn't have to be this like steady incline. It just has to be sort of a windy path that slowly gets better. It's like what we talked about last week. It's like a river, you know, like there's gonna be bumps in the river. It's gonna get your path is or your stream isn't gonna be as strong sometimes, but you're always gonna get where you're going. That was my long-winded way of saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I love about doing this show is that our previous episodes keep coming up and like
Yeah.
every episode kind of intertwines. And so something we've talked a lot about is intentions. Um, and so doing nothing, if your intention is to do nothing, is still like doing something. Like we're talking about just hanging out with friends, you're not really doing much, but in not doing much, you're building that relationship. In Ironman training, Carson, like when you take a rest day, you know that when you're resting, your purpose is to rest, and it's actually serving a purpose. It is doing something. I hope this quote is by Mark Twain. If it's not, I'm sorry. But or maybe it's like Ralph Waldo Emerson. But anyways, the quote is finish every day and be done with it. And I like to think of that as like whatever you're doing, do it to your utmost ability. So if you are running, run the best you can. If you're resting, rest the best you can. If you're going to hang out with your family, be as present in the moment as
Yeah.
you can. And so in my eyes, like by that logic, you're really never doing nothing. Idleness doesn't necessarily mean nothing if your purpose for that moment is to be idle and it's helping you get to somewhere else that you want to be.
So true. So true.
I think I think my perspective there's a couple things because there's so many things I wanted to respond to with what you guys said. For me though, I'm obviously the holistic view is that doing nothing sometimes is good, and I can't disagree with that. But if I'm just speaking from my perspective, doing nothing for me is kind of objectively bad. Like just for me, like I'm someone, it is so much easier and I enjoy doing nothing so much more than doing something. Like it's kind of wild how much I love doing nothing.
I think a lot of
And,
people would agree with that, Z.
I,
and
I love doing nothing with you, Zach.
yeah, I love that so much. Like it is so gas. But something that I hadn't really thought of until you said it, Marcus, was the imagination versus the action. And so I think what causes me to do nothing most of the time is imagining how difficult it's going to be. And then when I replay that in my head, it leads to like eternal procrastination, even though the action itself was just so light. Like I showed you guys before the call, but like I just cleaned my room and like it was disgusting for like weeks. Like, and it's just like not it's hard for me to live like that. And like, but every day I wake up, I get home from a long day of work, and I'm just like, nah, like I'm not touching this. And then now I did it, and I just like I feel high how good it feels to have done that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, and so I think the imagination is such a limiting factor in doing something versus doing nothing. I noticed it at work. And so something I want to talk about is piggybacking off of what you said, Carson, about the incremental steps. The steps I've taken recently, and maybe this will help some other people into doing stuff. Like even if it's little things, like for me, cleaning my room was instead of going to the gym today. And I don't hate that because I'll go to the gym tomorrow. At least I'll try. I'll try to go do something. But like at work, for example, I just bought a brick. Are you guys familiar with brick?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
break
yeah.
your phone. It helps you get off your phone.
Yeah, so it's right here on my wall. When I when I leave the door, like when I leave to go to work in the morning, I tap my phone and then it automatically locks apps that I can't go on until I unbrick
Bring
it.
it back.
Yo, yo, Z, how long have you had that?
This is like day 5, probably.
Like, do you really like it?
I mean, I'll be honest, it stinks. Like I will try so hard during work to just tap Instagram and then I'll get the thing. It's like, no, your phone is bricked. Like, and then the option is get back to living is what it says at the bottom of the screen.
Ah,
Yeah, I
And
always see the advertisements on Instagram and I give it like 1.5 seconds and then I scroll.
yeah, no, dude, it is so good. Like I still end up being on my phone because like I text and like I other things, but when I can't go on like mind-numbing activities that aren't communicating with other people, it's like I start thinking to myself like, dude, I'm at work. Like, let me go do something now, you know?
Yeah, I think the phone is like it's kind of in that realm of why doing nothing is bad because oftentimes, when we're on our phones, you can use it for work purposes if you send emails, if you're texting people that you need to communicate with, but like Instagram Reels, say it right here now, like I'm a Reels demon. That's not doing me any good. Maybe 1 in 100 Reels, I get something that's worthwhile, but it's like that's one of those why doing nothing is bad because when you're on your phone, like you're not really setting an intention for what you're going to be doing. It's literally like you said, it's just mind numbing, passing
yeah.
the time. So I think
It's to escape reality. It's literally to not have to think.
quite literally, yeah,
Wait, would you guys consider like personally when I think of doing nothing, that's me scrolling on my phone. Like I
yeah,
think that is literally me turning my brain off and doing nothing. Like technically I am doing something, but when I'm thinking about this question of doing something versus doing nothing, what comes to mind is me scrolling on my phone. Like
yeah.
that
It's
that's why I
total
ask about the
sense.
brick, Zach, because like honestly, if you've seen, like, I know you think it stinks. Like, obviously, it stinks. Like, yeah, if you want to go on your phone, you have an itch. Like, yeah, for sure. But I'm sure you've seen like marginal benefit in like being like, oh wow, like I'm way more present. I'm getting way more work done. Like, and
Even if it's like changing what the distraction is, like if my distraction becomes like a YouTube video as opposed to Instagram, like that to me is a win because I'm at least consuming something that requires like attention and
yeah.
is probably like overall like helping my attention span at least a little bit, even
So
though it's a distraction.
So something that I talked about with my coworker about like actually exactly what you just brought up, like YouTube versus Instagram Reels. He has always said if you scroll on your phone for 15 minutes and you can't tell me a story or something of substance that you watched, then what was it? What was that 15 minutes? Whereas what you said, like if you watch a 15-minute YouTube video, you're going to have things to talk about. You're going to have things to bring up in conversation. And that means that you did something because it'll lead to help you doing something later. Like that's real. Like because the way that I see it, if I just scroll reels for 20 minutes, what am I going to bring up? Like some stupid ass thing that I saw? Like no, probably not.
And listen,
It's a
I'm not a forever hater of Reels. Like we post on them. I think the difference is like
brain rot.
changing your feed so that even if you're not retaining much information, you're retaining good things or things that make you more knowledgeable, or at the
Totally.
very least positive. Like something I love like about following Marcus is like, yeah, I'll see the likes on like the stuff, like the dirty stuff that I want to see, but then I'll also see the stuff of like, a quote, like this whole stoic page that I just slide through, and like because I know Marcus liked it, it's like okay, like I'm in the right place kind of thing. Um
I like that. I
and,
like that.
and I think also for us, like contributing to that content, but in a good way, is something I'm very content with because we're using the platform to consume, but we're also giving to it, which is in turn doing something. So if it's like this inescapable evil, we at least get the opportunity to contribute in a positive way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not anti reels. Like I just it's something I have to get rid of for work. Otherwise, like I'm not going to make money. Like my job is dependent on how hard I'm in sales, so I have to work hard to make money. There's not really an in between.
It's a really good point. Like, and I wouldn't say I'm anti reels either, because there are moments where I'm like I am like very tired and I would like to just like turn off for a little bit and like shut down. And I think that is okay. Like that's why I brought up at the beginning. Sometimes I think doing nothing is actually okay. Like letting yourself reset. I mean, I wish I would just do it with like a good book, but one might argue that reading a book is doing something. So maybe that's
Totally, it totally is.
yeah, for sure. Like honestly,
Like the best thing.
yeah.
Like
Dude, I
Yo,
was
reading is so good for you.
so good. I need to get on that.
It's
Dude,
actually
I've gotten gifted two books recently. I haven't touched them. Like
my dad gave me a book like a month ago. I'm on like page 60, and to be completely honest, I'm pretty proud of that. Like,
I that's great. Like that's
dude,
awesome.
I'm so tight because I've had this book on my nightstand for God, probably since like November of last year, maybe even before that. And it's like a 700 page book. But I'm at page like 590 and
Let's
I
go.
just won't finish it. But like, bro, like the last month and a half, it just sits next to my bed. And every time I go to bed, and it's not even like I'm going on my phone. Like I'll put my phone down. I'm like, dude, I am just so tired. Like I just want to go to bed. Because not that reading is like actually I'm gonna say it. It's like challenging. Like you have to like turn your brain on a little bit. You know,
totally challenging.
like
So
Pay
yeah,
attention.
there's so
you're
many.
working your brain.
It's not
Yeah,
stimulating. It's not like an instant hit. It's like you have to actually work to get that hit. It's type two
Dude,
fun, not
it's
type one fun.
it, Marcus. I don't know if you'd agree with this, and maybe Zach, you would too. I actually think that reading is a little. We've taken this conversation to just 10 different directions, but
Whatever. I like it.
yeah, me
it was
too.
me.
Reading actually, I think, is almost like running. Like I hate, like genuinely hate the first mile and a half of running. Like you're shocking your body into doing something that is so far beyond what it thought it was capable in that moment. And then you start to get into a rhythm and you start to figure it out. And then eventually you get to that runner's high. But that could be like, 5, 6 miles in, whatever. I think it's the same thing with reading. Like those first 10 pages, you're like, oh my God, dude. Like, unless you're in like a chapter that's like really moving, you're like, oh my God, I gotta like actually like force myself to like keep doing it because until you get that flow state, it is like it's a little challenging. I think to keep going.
Dude, for me, it's like when I'm reading. So I reach my runner's high at like mile 6. And the way I describe it is it's just like when you're out there, it just like feels like the right thing to be doing and running just feels enjoyable. When I'm reading, like those first 10 pages, half the paragraphs I have to go back and reread it because my mind just went somewhere else.
Yeah.
And but then by like maybe I'm 20 pages into a session and like I'm like my mind's thinking about all the characters, like I'm actually building the world that I'm reading, and I start to actually like view it how, it's meant to be viewed.
Yeah.
My favorite book's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I highly recommend everyone
So
read it.
good. That's a
Um,
book I have read.
so gas. And like that one I really had to like it took me a while to start it. And then like once I got into it, I was just like so engrossed. And then it inspired me to start reading more and more books. And I think I have like so you gave us the intention practice that what your grandmother said to do or set an intention each day. My practice that goes along with this theme is something that I saw a couple years ago, and I go in phases of doing it, but I really like it. It's the 2 minute rule, where basically if something takes 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. And so recently I was doing this like my parents are gone right now. They've been gone for a couple weeks, and so I let the dishes build up in the kitchen, and I knew that I had to do them at some point, and I just didn't want to. And then I'm like, all right, just start with one dish, right? It's same shit with cleaning your room. Something takes like, yeah, okay, maybe there's, let's just say 100 dishes, but you can only do one dish at a time, and that dish is going to take less than 2 minutes to do. So you do it, and then you see another thing. You see a plastic water bottle, you throw it out, you take out the trash, and then by doing this 2 minute rule, it's like you start to get into that, call it that runner's high, call it that like that reading bug, whatever it is. You start to build momentum, and that's where I think taking action is so important because it helps you build momentum. And another, I don't know the exact quote, but it was Aristotle who said it, is it's like you have to do something enough to where it just becomes who you are. And so I think like those people, those really high functioning members of society, the SGAs, the LeBrons of the world, the Shaquille O'Neals, look at Shaquille O'Neal. It feels like he's just always doing another thing. It's because in their lives, they've built their success because action is so ingrained in who they are that it probably almost just feels wrong to be doing nothing. And so they're able to put so much out into the world. And so therefore, if one of those action-based people is a good person, it actually makes it so that you can put so much good out into the world just by being yourself, by being an action-based individual.
Dude, what you just said reminds me so much of a quote that I was gonna bring up before the show, but I just wasn't sure if where it would fit in. But like now I want to bring it up. Time spent thinking about doing something takes away the time you have to actually do it. Which I love that because I think about our conversation with Brandon Zach and how essentially what he did was a startup. Like he started from nothing and just built it into like this, little empire. But he started in 2004 and it didn't even really matriculate until 2013, but at least it wasn't like those 9 years he was just thinking about it. Like he took action and then just built it brick by brick until he knew it could matriculate into something beautiful damn near 10 years later.
And so the way I really interpret now, like after having this conversation, what you said, the way I really interpret what he said about doing something is better than doing nothing. I don't think it really matters what the something is.
Yeah.
It's literally just don't do nothing. Like if the something is going on a walk, if the something is reading 10 pages of a book, whatever it is, just do something that will benefit you. It does not have to be big. Like it does not have to be some monumental thing. Like in his case, it was a startup, but for most people, it doesn't have to be that. It can be getting up and cleaning your room a bit and just like getting out of this like slump or lethargy that I personally get caught up in way too often.
Yeah,
So
it's
so you
those.
so you think it's more like the choice to do something versus do nothing.
I think every time you make that choice, you win. Like
Yeah.
e- every time you make the choice to do something, even if it's like not necessarily what you're supposed to be doing. Like I think about my tasks at work today. Like honestly, I've been getting like swamped at work, which is a really good thing for me. But my procrastination mind, like I end up like pushing off things I really need to do and do something else. But those other things that I'm doing, like I still feel happy about them, even though they're not priority A. You
Yeah.
know, I can still feel good about like getting something that maybe is not as time sensitive done because I'd rather work on it. But at least I'm not playing Catan on my phone because I literally forced myself to not be allowed to use it at work anymore. You know,
Yeah,
like that is a win for me that I'm cannot play Catan at work anymore, which is a
Yeah.
wildly childish thing to say, but it's just like the truth.
Nah, bro,
yeah,
Catan's mad fun.
and you're really good at it.
I'm gross. Like
You're
Bro,
really
what's your rank? What's your international rank?
I'm like 250 rated in the world right now.
just
Bro, that is crazy.
casual.
Bro, and you look mad good.
Yeah, you do
I was
look
I was
good.
bro, I was about to say that before the show started. You're looking
Thank
I
mad
was
good, bro.
thinking it. I know we were all
Bro, your
thinking,
skin,
man.
your skin, jaw, bro, look, you just look mad
Hey,
handsome, bro.
I guess we stopped doing wins of the week, but I took my last Accutane pill on Friday,
Aw.
so
Nice, that's awesome.
I'm all done.
As a, of
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
course, of course.
Can we bring back wins of the week?
Yeah, let's do it. That's my win.
Marcus, you got a win of the week,
Wait,
man.
actually, sorry, I have another one. My brother did a gig in Brooklyn. It was fantastic. I posted a reel about it. Everyone should go check it out. That's my other one.
Snaps.
That's awesome. My win of the week is I just went on a camping trip with like some of my best friends from like high school that we do every single summer. So just like spending time with them, continuing the tradition. So important to do that. I hope it's something that we've been doing it every summer since like 2021, I believe. So that's my win of the week.
I
Hell
think
yeah.
I think my win was I spent some time with some college buddies last weekend, which was really fun. Hadn't seen some of them for like over a year. Um, but one of my wins has just been seeing like real progress in this Ironman training. And before the show started, or half Ironman, whatever, Marcus asked me like, "Do you feel like you could do the race if you did it today?" And I think the fact that I felt pretty confident saying like, "Yes, I could," that's like a big win, like internally, because I Marcus, correct me if I'm wrong, but this race, as much it is a physical challenge, it is such a mental and like psychological challenge. Like so much of it is like you just have to believe you can do it. And I feel like I've gotten to that point. So
Yeah, it's definitely 90% mental. Zach, so like what you said kind of reminded me of this. Like something that I've struggled with a lot is like perfectionism. I think that's the word. And I think perfectionism and procrastination go hand in hand because it's like I'm sure I'm not alone in like whoever's listening to this, but uh when you try to do like the perfect thing, if it feels like if you're not doing the perfect thing, then you just shouldn't do anything at all. And that's just like not how you should do it. And it leads to procrastination. So I really agree with what you said. Just like putting, just do something in the right direction. You're rarely ever gonna do the perfect thing, but just going in the right direction with the intention, getting those little wins, all things that we've talked about, and literally just do something. I think I think that's the key.
so
And I
true.
think,
Zach, I want you to before we run out of time here, I feel like you're pretty good at closing these things up. Like give us like a final recap here.
you know what? My final recap is going to be this quote that I have from this day by day.
Oh, let's
The,
go.
the owner of a garden is like the leader of an orchestra. He must know which of his instruments to encourage and which to restrain. I think to me, that's about balance. I think it's about when it's appropriate to do nothing and when it's important to put your best foot forward and go take action and do something. Marcus, to touch on what you said, fear of failure is the most crippling thing in the world. Failure is good. Go out and do something. To all of you listening, if you fail, good, you'll be more comfortable with the idea of not being perfect, which will make you closer to perfection. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week. Appreciate that.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Peace.
Bye bye.